Being hurt sucks, and I was very frustrated, not being able to do what I love. Franz Wagner reveals the emotional toll of his injury in this candid post-game interview.
Franz, that game kind of slipped away in the second quarter. What happened that flipped that allowed them to pull away during the course of that stretch?
I mean, I scored 47 points. I mean, if I remember correctly, I don't think we're moving the ball really well. More stagnant possessions, a couple turnovers, and I think the Hawks, since the All-Star break, they're probably the best team in the league, and they do it on both sides. They play really fast, even after makes, and we didn't find a way to stop that.
How do you feel after this game, and how do you feel like you performed since not playing since February?
I mean, I feel all right. It's definitely an adjustment, and it's going to be, I think, part of the process. But it felt good to be out there.
I feel like you just performed overall, just obviously knocking some rust off, I guess.
Yeah, obviously there's going to be some rust. I thought, I tried to play really hard. Focus on my assignment, stuff like that, and obviously some shots didn't fall. But I mean, at the end of the day, we played terrible as a team. So in the 20 minutes I was out there, I wish I could have done a better job.
You've been watching this team on the sideline, and then you've seen games play out the way that tonight played. What do you think needs to change when a team like Atlanta puts a big run on you, or what needs to happen to kind of stop things from snowballing like they did tonight?
I mean, I think part of it is strategy and X's and O's, and then I think the other part is just mentality, just having pride out there. Remembering that it's a blessing to be out there on the court, and to be honest, I don't think we've been doing that consistently, and tonight was another night like that.
To that end, I guess, what do you think is the issue? What do you think is the issue with the team's mentality overall? I think Coach was talking about maybe a lack of effort in stretches or a lack of focus in stretches. What do you make of the team's effort and focus going into, I mean, now it's 6 games left in the season. This was 7, but it seemed at times that it wasn't maybe there fully.
For sure. I don't think it's bad all game, but there's just many stretches that are, inexcusable, honestly, at this level. So it's hard to put a finger on it. It's I think it comes on runs, and we do a bad job of staying level-headed in those runs, and teams see that and feel that, and take advantage.
Franz, you've missed the better part of 4 months with this ankle injury. You had to watch your brother go through an extended absence. Just 2-part question, I guess. Like, how tough was it at times mentally for you to get through this, and how much of a help was he just being able to lean on him and, through his experiences?
Yeah, for sure. Very tough. Being hurt, sucks, honestly. It's very frustrating, obviously, not being able to do what you love, and rehab's can be pretty tough and boring at the same time. So it can be taxing on the mind, and at the same time, you don't get the chance to prove yourself out there. So I think in a competitive environment, I think that can add stress, and it's important to have people to talk to, and obviously, Mo is a big resource for me, and just focusing on the day to day, and letting the process kind of do the healing, let the healing do its process, I guess. You can't force some of these things, and can't control everything in the rehab process, and yeah.
Franz, you've been here the whole time since Jamal's been here, and oftentimes throughout the last 5 years, he's talked about the process of things, and when things don't go your way, you just stick to the process. But the process has gotten you guys to a point where you guys aren't necessarily satisfied with the results. So what needs to change? Is it still sticking to the process, or how do you deviate from that in these last 6 games to get to where you're trying to go?
I think we need to build an identity as a team. You know what I mean? It sucks to say at this point in the season, but I think it's fair to say that we want to hang our heads on the defensive side of the ball, and past years have gave a lot of teams a lot of trouble playing super physical, and physical brand of basketball, and we haven't found a way to do that consistently. And I believe though that starts on both sides of the floor. You know, it's hard sometimes to play super physical if they're always running at you and always have an advantage right away because you had a bad offensive possession. So I think that happened at points today as well. And so we got to get better at both sides.
And when you say you need to regain this identity, what does that look like? What actions need to happen in order for you guys to find your identity again before the playoffs begin?
I mean, obviously, as a group, together with the staff, we got to pinpoint what the problems are strategy-wise, and then, like I said, the other pieces, a mentality, a sense of pride, that should be expected, honestly, at this level. But you just got to bring that to work every day.
I know you've been on the sideline for the majority of the last 3 months, but I'm sure you could hear some of the frustration from the crowd tonight. Like, what's the frustration level, being in that locker room right now that you guys haven't been able to kind of find yourselves when not that it was easy, but when it seemed so second nature the last few years?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we feel the frustration from the outside. Trust me when I say that we're probably more frustrated in the locker room and trying to figure this thing out. But, this is the NBA. I think judgment and frustration from the fans are a part of it when, some of the things we talked about aren't there. So, we get paid way too much money to play this game, so it's on us to, figure it out.
Franz, kind of going off that, motivation shouldn't be a question in the NBA. You guys know what you're fighting for, but it seems like at times out there might be a lack of motivation. Do you feel that amongst your teammates in the locker room?
Yeah, that's what I was alluding to with, a sense of pride. Like I said, that can be expected when you step on the court and should always be there. And, I think, you can't just isolate things, and it's not a video game out there. All these things come together, and we're all human beings. So I think that's worth mentioning as well. That one thing can frustrate a human being and can lead into another mistake, and that's on all of us. And that's why we're here and get paid to do this. So it's our job to figure it out.
Franz, it's been a difficult stretch for you guys past month or so. I just remember a few years ago, the mantra for the season was believe. Do you guys still believe?
We believe. Well, we gotta we gotta look ourselves in the mirror because some of those possessions out there, like I said, are inexcusable. And at the same time, though, we're when you look at the standings, we're still in a spot where we can get into the postseason and from there, it's basketball, and you got to win 4 games. So, like I said, we got to use these 10 days it is, to find that identity, and like you said, find that sense of belief, and then be ready to roll.
Great. Thanks, Franz.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, everyone.